the psalmist, David. So when you understand that once you start, you see yourself sitting in the God seat in triple darkness in the middle of nowhere, and you recognize and observe that position. You sitting in the center of creation. That's the mindset. You sitting in the center of creation and you creating everything. Okay, now you would simplify the totality of creation. You got to bring it into your 3D model of yourself. I'm God pretending to be Rod. How am I supposed to behave as God in this 3D realm? This is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to rewrite who the system told me to be. I'm not going to be Rod. I'm going to be Morpheus Mysticus Magus. Morpheus Mysticus Magus is our chemical name that was adopted by the character Rod in order to break free from the character Rod and become the embodiment of the liberating mind that I want to be, so that I can help other people liberate their mind. So more.
All right, family, make sure y'all check out that Patreon for that latest episode with Rod Hayes. Matter of fact, he's going to be on live tomorrow on the channel. But tonight we're going to have tonight's show is going to be fun, educational, inspirational, thought-provoking, and electrifying, life-changing, and it's just going to be a show that you have never seen before. So I'll tweet this if you know, if you got Twitter, share a link on Instagram, YouTube, whatever.
Yes,
but this
sir.
is one of them shows here. We got 2 superstars in the building today. We got 2 of them.
Right. That's right.
We got KT the Arch Degree with the new cut, killing it with the new cut. And we got none other than Mr. G, man. Now tell me that ain't a legend, right? The legendary.
Hey, you got Mr. G up in the building.
I take it.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? How both y'all doing tonight, man?
Doing great, man. Doing great. How about you?
I'm doing great, man. Actually, I had a great day today. No complaints on my end, man. What about you, Mr. G?
I'm good, brother. How you doing with the family, man? We miss you in New York.
Hey, man. Yeah, man. You holding it down, man. You've been Brooklyn. You doing it big time, man. You still doing events at your spot, G, in Brooklyn? Tell the people about your spot as we get started.
No. I'm gonna talk about that later. I got another spot in Jersey, but I'm waiting till we finish that up. I'm gonna put you on later on.
Damn, amazing.
What's up with that Sebi picture behind you, Mr. G?
Oh man. Yo, KT, you always accept my invitation to come to Honduras. So thank you, Brother Rich. I've been inviting you to come to my crib in Honduras for a minute. Well, a young lady named Alicia Tardy, she actually visited Honduras and she got to meet my family and fell in love with the family. So this was actually painted by her mother. Well, her name is Elia Weber. On what you call it, that's how you can find her.
Okay.
Yeah, on Instagram. She do amazing work, man. And this is a 1 of 1. And what's so crazy about this picture? This is the first picture I ever took of Dr. Sebi. So for me to meet this young lady, my family met in Honduras. For us to meet her, and then for me to go on her page and tell her that picture was the first picture I ever took of Dr. Sebi for the Philly flyer. And for that, they gave me that for my birthday. So that broke me down. I was like, man, wow. I was looking to purchase it at one point, but she told me that it was sold already, not knowing that was a surprise for me. So salute to the Tardy and the Weber family. Real talk.
Oh, hey, G, before we get started with the show, let me ask you real quick. Now, you've been around celebrities, basketball players, actors, entertainers. I mean, you name Wendy Williams, you name it. All types of personalities all over the globe. I want to know because I'm big on aura. I'm an energetic person. I'm big on aura. What stood out from Dr. Sebi's aura in comparison to everybody? It doesn't have to be good or bad. It could just be something that stood out. But what stood out from Dr. Sebi in comparison to all of these amazing people you have met your whole lifetime? Because everybody, Busta Rhymes, everybody got these personalities. What was it about?
Yeah,
what stood out about Dr. Sebi?
You know what? That's a great question, brother. Thank you for asking that. One of the things that stood out to him, because I saw myself in him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very humble. I don't like the spotlight. I'd rather come in the back door instead of the front door where everybody praising you. I saw that Dr. Sebi didn't like people praising him. And I was shocked because I'm over there starstruck when I met him. And keep in mind, I done filmed Lindsay Lohan, everybody, and I'm in Honduras, starstruck, but this brother didn't want any of that. So for the simple fact that he was so humble, that stood out. Because you know some people act like they don't want to be in the limelight, but they really do. He really didn't like the limelight, and that stood out for me.
Wow. Very, very interesting. What about you, KT? What stood out about this man in comparison? You just did interviews with Jaylen Brown, so you done been around the world too, my brother. Lisa Left Eye and Erykah Badu. What about Sebi's spirit that stood out?
Sebi just had a confidence unlike anything I've ever witnessed in my life. Like he was like a hot knife through butter. He'd walk in rooms. It don't matter who was in the room, what was in the room. It don't matter if it was the king of Jupiter. It don't matter if it was Precious from Lord of the Rings. He would treat everybody the same. He would laugh with them. You know what I'm saying? And no matter how powerful everybody else was in the room, the energy would always turn towards him.
Wow.
You know what I mean? He just had this energy, that he carried around, and he knew he had it.
Yo, it's crazy that you said that, man, because when we did the New Jersey show, Wendy Williams came to the Airbnb where we was at. And Wendy Williams is usually the topic of all discussion. It's all about her when she's in the room. Wendy Williams was on the floor sitting down like an Indian, just listening to everything Dr. Sebi had to say. That's one picture I regret not taking, just to see her as a little girl listening to Dr. Sebi. So he had
that voice, that commanding presence. He didn't command anything. That's the thing about it. He was like whatever. But he just had a, like you said, aura. He had his auric field, that electromagnetic torus around him. That thing was a beast. There was a lot going on with that whole field.
Oh man, yeah. Shout out to that brother as we start this show.
Yes.
Huge inspiration for this show. He's done wonders in the health community, and he both of you have worked with him. And y'all got some testimonies, y'all got some stories, y'all got some science. Like I said, this is one of them shows tonight. And the topic tonight is we're talking about herpes and herpes and diseases. And the thing about it is that we've been lied to so much, and I'm hearing different things about exactly what herpes is, and you hear about how this thing never goes away and such a large percentage of the population has it. Some people don't even know they have it. I think they said some people call it the gift that keeps on giving. We gotta really it's an honor and a privilege to have people who could show testimonies to something that the so-called white coats are telling us can't be done. It can't be cured. This can't be cured. This can't be, you can't help this person. It's a wrap. Just take these pills for the rest of your life. So we're gonna have a great conversation tonight. To start out with, what exactly, KT? Because I was telling you earlier about the whole herpes thing, and I asked you about, is this thing entity?
Rich, real quick before we get into that, I want to thank you first of all for giving me a voice. Every time I come on your platform, something amazing happened to me. Like last time I was on your platform, Breakfast Club invited me based on what they saw on your platform. Tasha K invited me. So thank you in advance for whatever's about to happen after this.
You had to get that out. You like,
I had to, because I don't want that to get lost in the source. And I want to shout out real quick I want to let y'all know real quick. The Lost Boys TTO is a documentary that a docu-series that I actually got hired to be one of the producers. I want to shout out to all the brothers that's involved in that, to Mr. Cheeks, Supreme, his queen Lala, all the actors that's been rehearsing. We're about to start filming in May. KT got a cameo appearance this. So I wanted to just shout that out real quick before we get into what we're gonna do.
Indeed, indeed. So basically, this is one of them things that there's people that's watching it that don't even tell people they got it. Like, it's a little embarrassing for a lot of people to admit. So we're gonna help people that, oh man, it's gonna be so life-changing. They might call y'all and start crying and be like, oh my God, I never thought this day would happen. So what exactly is this thing, KT, Mr. G? Is it an entity? Is it a parasite? Is it a virus? Is this, that? I hear so many different things about it. What's going on with this thing? Is it an alien? You know what I'm saying? But what is it?
Well, I'm gonna let KT answer that part, what it is. What I want to talk about is a lot of people that I've actually helped and guided to get rid of it. And I want them to know that I'm not a healer, even though KT hate when I say that. I'm not a healer. I basically just regurgitate what I heard Dr. Sebi talk about, what I hear KT talk about. I learned the science from KT, and I learned how to do it from Dr. Sebi. I have several people that I got their testimonies and their results in my phone. They call me, and first of all, it starts off with how you doing, how's everything, and then eventually, once they get you comfortable, they let me know what's going on. So I walk them to a process that I learned through Dr. Sebi and KT, because Dr. Sebi give you the basics, but KT I'll give you an example how Dr. Sebi is. Dr. Sebi is, if you look at his nutritional guide, it says almond milk isn't good. And almond milk is good, but he found out that they put something in the almond milk that actually keeps it fresh. So instead of telling everybody go make your own almond milk or whatever, he just say it ain't no good.
Okay.
You get it? So his nutritional guide always evolving because he's learning all the time. That's why I always tell people in private, Dr. Sebi wouldn't even follow the same Dr. Sebi
that's
from
deep.
2014.
That's deep.
2025. That's a fact.
That's deep.
Everywhere we went, Dr. Sebi would actually speak to somebody and ask them, "What your grandmother tell you about this?" He never tell them what the doctor. He was steady learning. That's why when his family say he didn't teach nobody else, I was with him when he learned from everybody. Yeah. So I just wanted to get that out. I'm gonna be jumping anything that jump in my mind. I'm gonna just.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. People need to hear that one for sure.
Yeah, because one of the reasons why I don't claim to be a healer, because I've traveled with this man and he told me I kept my big mouth shut for 17 years. I was 30 when I started, and I was 47 when I started helping people. And he told me it's trillions of herbs in the world. I only know 600 of them. And it's more just as we have good herbs, we have dangerous herbs. So for somebody who's just learning a couple of herbs right now to go call themselves a healer, you can actually hurt somebody. That's one of the main reasons why I refer to people like KT who grew up in this, like this, that he's clearly over 17 years in this business.
Excellent.
Yeah. Wow. So going back to the stories I had so many people that DM me. Oh, let me tell y'all this real quick. Everybody, don't send me no more pictures, please. I believe y'all. I'm squeamish. Don't send me no more pictures. Yeah. I believe y'all that y'all have it.
I have to agree with that one, because as much as I love the body and understand the body and everything like that, there's certain pictures and images I still ain't
hold up. What they sending y'all crazy pictures that they cured? Like what, shit coming out of them or something? What they sending?
Pictures of the outbreaks, pictures of where the outbreaks is at, and just how severe they are.
Yeah.
I'm squeamish. I don't like to see that.
Yeah. But it's no offense to anybody, just being honest about it. So yeah, I get it. So we're talking about, so I've been helping people over the years. In this situation, we're dealing with a scenario where over the past 2 years, 12 people were able to get help consistently with the same protocol. That's why this is, we're talking about this differently than everything else that has been successful, because to have one modality, one thing that you're doing, that no matter if it's a man, if it's a woman, if they're a certain weight or a certain height or a certain build or whatever, this same situation is able to help a person time and time again. It was like, okay, we done had 12 people, and we just helped the 12th person not that long ago, right, Mr. G? The 12th person is what, within a month?
7 days.
7 days ago. I didn't even know it was that soon, right? So with these 12 people that we helped with this consistent regimen, we was like, we have to come out, we have to share that, we were able to crack this code, and that, and offer this to the people that are interested, because you used a very interesting term, Rich. You said embarrassed, which is very profound term that you decided to use, because that has a lot to do with the cause of it in the first place. That emotion and that energy, So there's so many people, because that's our issue. Like, if Mr. G didn't keep track of these results, because even with me, a lot of people that I end up helping, when people are doing good, you don't hear from them. They Audi 5,000. And in this situation, we had people that were like agreeing to come forward and tell the story. But once they get there and their life has changed and they're good, they're like, yeah, I don't think I want anybody to know I even went through that.
Yeah.
So
I had
luckily,
I'm sorry for cutting you off. I'm just trying to touch on that. I had a brother from Philly. This brother hit me up and he told me, I can't wait to tell the world if this works. It took about maybe 4 or 5 months once he got his results. I mean, this was somebody who was about to jump off a bridge. It was just the end of the world for him. So after he doing what we needed him to do, he hit me and said, nah, I'm about to get into my career and I just don't want that on me. And same thing with a young lady. She videotaped the whole journey. And then when she got her results back, she was like, my nana told me that it's not a good idea and that the people are not going to believe that I don't have it anymore. I said, but you got the results right there. So it's kind of crazy how once they get their life back, and I'm not saying this that so that anybody that we help from now on come forward. I mean, that's your choice. It's just don't say you're going to say something, and then once you get your results, you change your mind because you figure. Because I think in my mind that they don't think it's going to work.
Right.
So when it works, they're like, oh man, and I done gave this man my word that I was going to tell the world about it. So, and one of the people that we helped been on your show, Rich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as one of the speakers,
he ain't gonna give you no more than that. we can't say anything. All we can say is that.
Yeah, he's been on your show.
Was you able to successfully help him though? Like
1,000%. 1,000%.
Yep.
Look at Rich face.
Wow,
I'm about to figure this out.
I dig it. I understand. I'm just happy that y'all out there doing what y'all do. And these people, they're looking at it like, damn, I got a new lease on life. I want to just erase my past. They're like, yo, I just want to erase my past. So, I ain't mad at them, but I understand it's like,
it's like when people get on and you helping somebody get on.
Yeah.
And they get on. And then you think they about to break you off, and they like, man, I just got this 10 million. Like, give me a second. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a constant. So if it happens in that area, it happens in this area as well.
Right.
And that thing is, it's like, yeah, it hurts. It's not egotistical. It's not like, oh man, we need the props. It's, do you know how much you're gonna help people by coming forth and telling people that you also did not know this thing was gonna work? You implemented this whole thing and it came to pass, and now you have healed. Because I mean, out of all the people watching the show right now, there's a huge percentile that have herpes that are watching right now.
Yeah, facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
It's
and them being able to come forth and tell their story gives those people that already starts the healing process right there. So to deny all these other people that, you know what I'm saying, once you went through this journey, that's the thing. We're like, wow, that's crazy. You just gonna keep that to yourself like that? I'm like, okay, that's what it is. So, you know, we talked about it a lot, and we was like, yo, we need to offer same thing we did with them. We need to offer to everybody. It's one thing when you got a few people where it's helped, but then when you get into them double digits, and now we at 12, it's like, okay, this thing is definitely working. And through the journey of it, getting a better understanding of the mechanics of what's really happening. Because, you know, people that got herpes who've been in sexual relationships. You got people who were virgins, so they were like 30, had sex for the first time and caught herpes. You got people that ain't had no sex and had herpes. You got people that got herpes for 20 years, never had an outbreak. So you got all these different scenarios going on. It's like, okay, what is happening here? You know? So going through this process, it just shines more light on what's actually happening in the body. And, you know, Mr. G's on here because, you know, Mr. G and I work together on a lot of things. So people aren't able to get to me directly. So, but
I was just going to say that.
Mr. G, he's available. You know what I'm saying? So folks get in touch with him. So, you know, they don't deal with me directly. They deal with me through Mr. G, right? So he has like majority of the stories because he was there more than I was there during that whole process.
And I got majority of the gift that they give. I ain't sharing them with you too.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't pass that on. You just described, you didn't show me. So, you know, Mr. G's here to tell y'all some of these stories, explain to y'all the process that some of these people went through in terms of them getting healed. And then I'm going to go into some of the science of, you know, what herpes is and what is going on, and let everybody know that, you know, we have something that we developed called the H-Pack, the KTH pack, you know, and we're not using that word because on these e-commerce platforms these days, you gotta be mindful of what you say, you know. So on my e-commerce platform, the H stand for Honduras herbs.
Right. There you go.
You know what I'm saying? But right here, it stands for herpes. And what this pack is it's not just a 4-month herbal package. This is a 4-month process, give or take a month. And the difference, the reason why it could be a little less than 4 months, or it could be more than 4 months, is because of why, Mr. G.
Can I explain that?
I was going to say, because of why, Mr. G.
Okay, one of the reasons I used to always, when people came up to Dr. Sebi with the same illnesses, and he used to tell some people 3 months, he used to tell some people 6 months to 6 to 8 months. So I asked him one day, said, yo, why you told that lady 3 months and you told that lady 6 months? The bigger you are, the harder the longer it's going to take for you to heal, because the herbs have to go around all the fat. It's like he explained it to me. It's like going inside a storage unit. If it's empty, you go straight to the back and get what you need. But if it's full, you got to move around and get to it. So that's how he explained full storage as a fat person and a skinny empty storage as a skinny person. It's easier to get to the disease if you're smaller.
That's a good way to explain it. Shit.
There we go.
Y'all got people on the edge of their seats, man. Let's go.
So if you got somebody who's, you know, 5'8", 5'10", and they 300 pounds,
yeah,
and you got somebody else who's like 5'4", you know what I'm saying, and they like 120, then you know, one of the heavier person is going to have to deal with a process for a longer period of time because there's more work to be done, you know. And that's one of the big things about us. That's why it's like give or take that amount of time. And yes, this isn't no treatment that we're talking about here. We're talking about us being successful with 12 people finding a cure to the point where their results came back negative, not just immediately, like over time they kept being negative and they ain't had an issue since that time, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what we're talking about, like ridding yourself of this weight and this burden that you're walking around with.
Yeah. KT, but before you get started with the breakdown of what exactly this is, how do y'all know you're successful if somebody might not have a breakout for 5 to 10 years? How do you know you're successful?
No, we're dealing with people specifically with breakouts.
Okay.
So we're not dealing with the people like so people that be like, I've never had a breakout. You know, they got diagnosed and it's been 10 years, 15 years. I tell them what I said at my event. I'm like, oh, you don't have it. what ended up because when you get tested for herpes, is based on antibodies. That's one of the main tests, you know, antibodies that they are able to measure a certain number of them. But this antibody is ubiquitous. It's not specific just for herpes alone. So you could be dealing with another infection, another issue, another problem inside of your body. And because of the influx of all of these antibodies in your system and you getting this test and they're like, oh yeah, you have this. Right. But most of these people, they don't go back after, because they're so embarrassed, they're so scared, they just think they have it. They don't go back after 6 months or a year or 5 years and test again and find out that was just a fluke. So some people who have gotten tested and gotten those, they actually don't even have it. We're talking about people that actually had like he said, the pictures. He got the evidence.
Oh, they have it.
People were sending them pictures, you know.
Right.
So one thing I wanted to add, this is a situation where it's actually, what I've done through Dr. Sebi and KT teachings. A lot of people don't understand that it takes your body 21 days to prepare to heal. So it's all about preparation. And one of the things that I love about this method, I actually learned it from Dr. Sebi, who was in Philly one time. And it was this lady said, Dr. Sebi, I have herpes, but I can't go to the sauna in Honduras. I can't go in the thermal waters. So he showed her a way to bring Honduras to him, to her. So that was the method that we've been implementing. So people don't have to worry about, oh, I got to go to Honduras. Not saying going to Honduras is bad. I mean, Usha to me is like Disney World. You should go there at least one time. Dr. Sebi walked around there. You get to see his glass mansion. A lot of people ask me about it. I pass by Usha all the time. You know, I'm in Honduras every 2 months. So I have nothing against Usha. Anybody who want to go there, feel free to go. But I don't know who's operating Usha like that. So I could just talk about what I know. And I know for a fact that this worked.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, and we're bringing Honduras to you. That's what we're doing. That's why it's the H-Pack. We packing Honduras up and putting it inside your hand. So one of the interesting things is, as you just mentioned, you know, that period of time. So before you even get started with the herbs and the process of how to take the herbs, because we use a very unique way on how to utilize the herbs in this, and this is what makes everything work and click, is, as Mr. G just mentioned, this 21-day preparation. And this 21-day preparation is made based on a tailored dietary regimen. There, you can't just go off of the alkaline list. Okay, there's some adjustments that have to be made, and the adjustments is based on these amino acids called arginine and lysine, and you have to be very mindful, of these two particular amino acids quantities inside the foods that you're eating, because one is going to trigger outbreaks and one is going to suppress outbreaks based upon what these two amino acids energies do. So the list is kind of hand-picked and hand-selected to ensure that you're constantly in the black with your lysine, you know what I mean, and you're in the red with the arginine. But it's still a electrified foods list, right? So you do that for 21 days because you have to prepare your body. And then once your body is prepared after those 21 days, then you get started with the protocol that, has been formulated. And that extends, like I say, it gives, give or take 4 months is kind of the base. But like we mentioned, if you're a little heavier than that, you're going through a few things and it could be a little long. What's the longest that we've dealt with, Mr. G? Was it 8 months?
7 months.
7 months. 7 months. Okay.
And the reason why it was 7 months, because I was about to say his name.
Slow down.
Yeah. Because the brother kept he was sneaking and eating pizza or eating French fries, and I would tell him, whenever you eat something like that, you go back to day one. So that's why we kept going back. And so when he stuck to the food that he was supposed to be eating, that's why we got the success from there.
You starting over. That's right.
So that's why it took that long, because he kept cheating on his diet. And like I tell them, you don't have to eat a certain way for the rest of your life, but just while you doing this process, you definitely is a strict diet. But once you get your negative results, I wouldn't go back to the Whoppers and all of that, but whatever they want.
Exactly. So yeah, we have the package where it is the herb supply for the 4 months. Of course, if you have to go longer than that based on your weight, then you're going to need a little bit more herbs, but we have it for the 4 month supply. You get a PDF file, which is really more like an ebook. It's like 12 pages long. And in this PDF file, those of y'all have been part of the fast that that Rich and I do. You're kind of familiar with, what I do PDF wise. This one is a little bit more in detail and a little longer. All right.
Tell them the best part of this package, though.
Right. Because it really is going to break down.
Now, who they get to talk to?
Yeah, I'm going to get to that. That one. I'm just talking about the PDF file right now. So the PDF file is going to provide you with an opportunity to get a better grasp on what herpes is, HSV1, HSV2, what it is, what's really occurring inside the body, what these people are going through. Then it's going to give you a great insight on exactly what to do, how to do it, what to take based on the package, right? And then it's also going to give you a real good in-depth understanding of the diet and what the foods do, and collectively it's just so just saturated with all this information that you're going to walk away from it really having a good grasp and a good understanding. So you got the 4 month supply herbs, you got this in-depth ebook, but then this is the one. Now I decided to do this because I'm like, one thing that was kind of constant, not kind of constant, but was constant in all of this was the fact that, someone had to be present to directly give these people instruction. So what I'm offering is a 30-minute consultation with everyone who purchases the package. And this 30-minute consultation is so that I'm able to run through the PDF file and the protocol with you directly, so you can get a a understanding of exactly what you need to do, and there's no confusion, because they can listen to this show 1,000 times and they can get the instruction and the PDF in the package, and they can know how to read and have reading comprehension and understand it all. And after they get done, they still gonna be like, okay, what do I do?
That's right. Facts. That's facts.
So that's why I decided, and I'd be busy. But I said with this one, because of how effective it is, and I want to really make sure that these people are able to get out this situation, I'm offering my time, which I think is the most valuable thing that I could give. And really I felt to be 15, but I said, no, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to do 30 because I want to give enough time for the people to ask their questions, hear them out, has to have an exchange, and me be able to go through everything. So that's the other part of it. So you get the 30-minute consultation with me. You get the 4-month supply of the herbs that is part of this protocol, and you get the in-depth ebook. This is what is all in this KTH pack that we're talking about right now.
Indeed.
And so you get to go to Honduras without leaving your house.
Exactly. We bringing Honduras to you. All right. So when we talking about herpes, we're talking about viruses, we're talking about the field, and we're talking about the fascia. And I have to give credit where credit is due, and the credit is due to my mama. Big shout out to Mama Pill. Because Mama Pill is the one that really taught me about the fascia in the first place. She taught me how important it was that we were to truly exercise this particular structure, because when it's not, then we suffer a great deal. And I wasn't able to see that until my mother started getting fascia treatments, and I started seeing her go through these kind of emotional releases. Like she would cry. You see what I'm saying? And really let these things go. And that's when I started having an understanding that, the fascia was like these fiber optic cables that were not just for the structure and this webbing that kept everything together in the body, but they were actually communication networks. And they were not just communicating any type of information. They were communicating emotional information.
Deep.
Because emotions are, we speak on the emotion, right? Energy and motion, right? Because when emotions are stagnant, when they're held, when they're tight, when they're bottled up, that's when they explode and dangerous things happen, right? But when we're able to communicate our emotions and speak our emotions and be emotional in healthy environments and safe environments, then we develop and we grow as a people and as an individual. But we never conceptualize where is it held at.
When it's in the
emotion is not just in your brain,
right?
It has to be somewhere. If vitamin D comes from the sun and becomes a chemical inside our body that helps our immune system, then why isn't there chemicals or tangible physical things that represent emotions in our body? And our fascia is a web, the same way that spiders catch flies. Our fascia catches emotions. And you know how spiders, what does a bug look like in a spider's web? At first they stuck, right? And they moving and the fascia's bouncing. That's a disturbance. Those are waves getting shot out, right? And then the spider's like, yo, you tripping. I'm about to lose my meal. Let me web you up. Next thing you know, you see this ball on the web.
Yes.
That gets tied into the webbing structure.
And what is, hold on, I like this. What does that ball become in our body?
That ball ends up becoming, though, what you gonna say, Rick? You look like you about to
I would hate to say. No, this shit is fire. If they really listening, this shit is fire. Guys, what does that emotional ball? What does that emotional ball become, KT?
That emotional ball ends up becoming the toxic trauma centers that give birth to the toxicity that translates into the physical diseases that we end up experiencing.
Yeah, there you go.
because the emotion gets trapped.
Yeah.
Right. Anytime you trap something, what does that thing do? It fights to get out, and it uses up all the air, and it scratches itself, and it's dark, and it's depressed. What if it was already depression? What does depression become in depressed situations?
Yo, what the damn? Oh man.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, want to give a shout out to Yaki for the work he's doing, because he does a lot of work in herpes too, and he's very successful. And he speaks on herpes dealing with parasites, and he specifically speaks on a fluke worm called Fasciolopsis buski. Now, what's interesting about that parasite is it's called fascia. It's called fascia.
It got the name in it. It got the
word fascia in its name, right? So parasites, they are able to transport things around the body, things harboring them. When we look at the movie Dune, right? Paul Atreides, he's able to get up on the worm and travel all across the Dune planet. So parasites are able to harbor things all throughout the body. So we have this situation where we have this trapped emotion inside, right? So now we have to look at pleomorphism. Pleomorphism is a process where our body induces microbes, and they evolve and transform into higher life forms in our body. We are nuclear reactors. We are not just life. We are creators of life. Now, when a man and a woman come together, we able to create ourselves, but on our own, we are constantly able to create entities within inside of our body. Now, there's a entity that lives inside of us. This is a greater basic unit than our cells. Cells are called the basic unit of the human body, right? But inside of our human body, we got something called a protit, and the other name for it is called a somatid. All right, this is Dr. Nassim's work, and then there's also another doctor called Gunther Enderlein. He's German from early 1900s. They don't even talk about this book. It's all on a hush hush. But what was found inside our blood when we do live blood analysis, not regular blood sampling, because regular blood, when you use a microscope or regular blood, they have a backlight that floods out everything. And similarly, in studying the human body and the cellular structure, in order for us to get an understanding of the structure of cells, scientists would freeze the cells and remove the water so that they can see the organelles and the structure. But you're removing the most active part of the cell. So when you are using a regular microscope, you're removing one of the most major aspects of peering into this small world, and that is dark field microscopy. So when you get a dark field microscope and you put blood in there, you see something totally different than any other type of microscope. And when they studied our blood, we talking all races and all sizes and all shapes and all nations, there was one common denominator. We got this little thing that is like infinitely, that cannot be destroyed, cannot be killed, cannot be removed from our body. And one person called it a protit, another person called it a somatid. And what they noticed is when the somatid is in a alkaline or high energy or electrified environment within inside the milieu of the human body, it adds to your health. You know, when you be in the zone, you know what I'm saying? You got that you on them gamma waves. You're doing those otherworldly things because you have this spark inside of you that is able to add to your situation and make you bloom. But when you are emotionally distraught and acidic and your charge dropped and you're feeding your body these things that are toxic and poisonous, what ends up happening is now this somatid goes through a pleomorphism, a transformation where it goes from the protid of the somatid into virus, into bacteria, into yeast, into parasite. You make it inside of you based on what you're going through. So when you find yourself in these situations of embarrassment or childhood trauma, right? People have there's usually two things that happens in childhood trauma, right? If it's sexual, then we know that we're dealing with the region of your sexual organs, right? Your gonads, right? The phallus and the yoni. The other part of that is the fact that you just went through this trauma. You have no one to share this with. You're embarrassed. You're ashamed. You're defeated. You never speak it. You hear what I'm saying? You never speak it. So what are the two areas that are now affected? You got your sacral region, where your reproductive area is, where the sacral ganglion exists, where HSV2 presents itself. And then you have your trigeminal region, which is what? The mouth, where you feel ashamed to share what you're going through to get help. And now you have become the spider that has now webbed up this tragedy and this emotion, and it gets confined, it gets repressed, it gets pushed all the way down. And what herpes ends up becoming is it's more of a frequency based on what is happening inside of you that only ends up flaring up when you align with that frequency that has been created. So latency, when it goes away, those are those times where it is repressed, but it's not, you're not feeding it. But when you feed it, that's when it explodes. That's when it expresses itself.
Okay, let me ask you a question real quick.
Yeah.
What is it about the honey that when a lot of these people get outbreaks, when they apply it to the outbreak, they don't get an outbreak in that same spot anymore? What is it about the honey that makes it do that?
Because as I continuously tell everybody, this is not regular honey. These are solar codes and sun keys that are preserved in a syrupy medium. You are taking one of the most healing frequencies that you can, and you're placing it in that area to restore the proper frequency and coherence that is supposed to occur in that region. Because how often does a woman's inner thighs show? We've all had experience with females' inner thighs here, right?
Amen.
Okay. That area is dark, ain't it? That's a nice dark area right there, right? So how much light does that area actually get to see? How much exposure? So if that area already doesn't get much exposure, now you are repressing something in that. Then just like you put a top over rice, it bubbles up. Now, the reason why you also know it's the fascia is because what's happening to the person when they're going through herpes? They have a burning sensation. stinging pain that results in fluid-filled blisters. Now I'm going to ask Rich this question because he knows the answer. If emotions were connected to any element, Rich, what of the 4 elements would emotions be connected to?
Water.
What are blisters?
Water.
So your body is trying to release what you're not wanting to release. I'm gonna say something real controversial right now.
He's cooking. He's cooking, right?
Facts.
Herpes is not the problem. Herpes is not the bad guy.
Don't say that, man. Come on, man. Don't say that. That could sound insensitive, man.
Listen, herpes is the savior, actually. Herpes is trying to tell you to get right. Let it out. Let it go. Release me. Stop keeping me down here in Hades. I don't want to be down here. Let me out. And when your fascia is dehydrated, so people might say things like, okay, if the sun is good for herpes, then why they say UVB, ultraviolet, triggers herpes then? Like, that don't make sense. Like, that's counterproductive, KT. Well, yeah, UVB, which makes vitamin D, and UVB in period is very good for our body and our cells and our tissues, but that's based on what? That's based on a hydrated body. Fascia is like if water could form itself into structure. It's that liquidy. It needs to be hydrated. And when it's dry and it's crusty, then ultraviolet can't do what it needs to do because the fascia can't receive that high intensity frequency the proper way. That's like if you sleeping at 4 a.m. and I'll wake you up with one of them what's the lights we be using, the floodlights we be using for the camera and everything like that, for sets and everything. What if you turn one of them things up on like 10,000 Kelvin and blasted somebody in the eyes when they first woke up? What would that do to their sight?
Blind them.
They'd be blinded for like 10 minutes. Like, what is that? Disoriented, angry. Because
that's what happened to the babies when they come out of the darkness in these hospitals.
That's a way better. See, I told you he's a great storyteller. That's a way better example, y'all. Coming on out that thing, right? They'd be like, yo, you know, who hit the lights? So that's that intensity. So ultraviolet can hurt and stuff like that in situations because the fascia is dehydrated, is deformed, is denatured, it's hurting, it's struggling, and you hitting it with all this strong. And what we do with this protocol is we're rehydrating the fascia. We're offering an emotional release. Now, Mr. G, what is the common denominator with all of these people before they got cured? What is the constant experience that they all shared?
Pro tits. No, I just wanted to say that word again. Nah, I've heard different from everybody. They went back into their childhood without explaining too much. They go back and relive some kind of childhood trauma as they healing. And it's like if they took a mushroom without taking the mushroom when their body's purging, and they go back to situations where they thought something happened in the dream, but it actually happened, and it gives them a lot of clarity.
They all have an emotional reaction, a cleansing, a purging of something being released.
Yeah.
Showing that something was trapped, you know, deep inside. And understand, when I say fascia is a web. Okay, I want y'all to visualize a web. Imagine going in an old crusty house. Nobody been in there for like 200 years. what them cobwebs look like. They all over that house. They penetrating every wall. Even when you bust the walls down to the foundation, they're in the walls. They're everywhere. They're in the vents. So fascia innervates every part of you. So when we think about sticks and stones, but you know, words don't hurt me, things that affect you emotionally can get deep inside of you. And how does something get deep inside of you? It has to be able to travel along some type of highway that exists that can penetrate deep within inside your body. And the only thing that has the ability to do that is the fascia. You know, so being able to untangle those webs and those knots, that's another thing I wanted to mention. In Islam, when you speak on the jinn, right? Big shout out to AA, because AA schooled me on this.
AA Rashid.
Yes, AA Rashid, the man, the myth, the legend. He mentioned to me that when it comes to the jinn, the whispering, when the spells are put on individuals, it's done so in a knot. So when somebody's putting the hoodoo on you, when a jinn is putting that work on you and they're whispering, the whisper is to create a knot in your spirit, a knot. And the reason why you want a knot is because a knot is going to prevent flow. If you have a hose and water's flowing through that hose and you tie a knot in that hose, that water is not flowing past that knot any longer. Not only does the water not flow through the knot any longer, and it's funny that knot is not, right? Like I'm not going to do it, right? So not only is it not going to flow, it's going to build up pressure on the other end. One end is going to be flaccid and not working at all. The other end is going to be full of pressure about the bust. That's not balanced. Imagine that throughout a quintillion miles of fascia in your body. Throwing the body off, right? So you have to find a way to untie that knot. You know, pull that knot, pull that string of yarn so that ball of yarn falls apart and everything can become taut and have this proper geometric structure again like it needs to have.
Question, KT, before you go further.
Yes.
What do we tell the people? Because this is a situation I'm always telling you that I'm having with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Changing the diet. They think that because their grandmother gave them these pork chops or chicken breast or egg whites, they think that it's okay when that's actually making them go backwards. Like how do you talk into that?
So as I'm speaking about the jinn and I'm talking about the spirits and the tying of the knot, right? That gives rise to entities. So we have to recognize that healing is spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, right? And we talk about spirit all the time, right? In regards to, oh, my spirit, I got a spirit inside me, right? You got a spirit, Mrs. G, right? You got a spirit, right, Rich? But if we believe we have a spirit, then that means everybody else has spirits, and that means they are spirits that exist. So how can you conceptualize that a human being who doesn't have your best interests at heart can be a vampire to your energy and your aura and suck you dry? But you don't think there's spirits that can do that. So as this physical thing is happening in you, it gets occupied. It gets occupied by energies that then want to thrive inside of you. It wants to live. So then you kind of have this battle where you have this herpes situation trying to reveal to you the issue, the problem, and what you need to do to release yourself. But then you also have a part of you that's occupying this situation that's trying to dodge and duck and keep you going. So when Mr. G asked about this food, listen, man, the greatest miracles that occur in our existence are usually a byproduct of someone fasting.
Mm.
For all you Christians out there,
Mm-hmm.
for all y'all Gnostics out there, for all y'all Muslims out there, for all y'all Catholics out there, Buddhists out there, atheists out there, y'all too. You know what I'm saying? When people abstain, what happened backstage in the bathroom with Sebi after the, what was it, the 45th day?
67th day.
67th. See what I'm saying? Never
67th.
underestimate Sebi's numbers. On the 67th day of Dr. Sebi's fast, when he was on his tour, what did he do in the bathroom?
We was in Newark, New Jersey, and it's so funny how we was eating everything in front of him, and this brother was just drinking. And actually, that was going to be one of the questions that I asked. And whoever got this question right, I was going to give him 18 ounces of not sea moss, of banana oil.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get to that. Dr. Sebi stopped. He stopped eating, and I would ask him why you stopped eating. He said something is wrong, and he said something is in my body. And that's the first time I ever heard him say, if the body was meant to be open, God would have put a zipper on it. So he stopped eating, and we inside on Broad Street in Newark, New Jersey, and I forgot the name of the church, but Dr. Sebi's in the middle of his speech, and Paul Anthony and Bow-Legged Lou, they told me, yo, he's not talking no more. So he had just fainted in Philly not too long ago. So I was already on point, ready for him to, if anything happened, I was ready to jump on him.
Right.
So we took him to the bathroom. Marina, salute to Marina. That's the warrior king, the female warrior king.
Right.
She actually held the door down while Dr. Sebi and I was in the bathroom. So I seen him over the toilet bowl. And I thought he was throwing up, but he was like putting pressure on his nose.
Mm-hmm.
So he's putting pressure on his nose, pressure on his nose, pressure on his nose. And then clot, like this blood clot came out of his nose about the size of half of you remember the jacks we used to play back in the days?
Yeah.
Like half of that ball was about that big.
Mm.
So he was like, I got you. I knew it was something wrong. So after that blood clot came out of his nose, he went and talked for another hour and 45 minutes. He was good.
Yeah.
Pushed it out his nose, man.
Pushed it out his nose.
So remember, fasting is spiritual because you're abstaining. You're abstaining. You're not feeding whatever it is, because we are energetic beings that are photovoltaic, and we thrive off of the hydrogen molecule and solar rays. You see?
And not to cut you off, but that word photovoltaic, who that remind you of?
Sebi.
Baba Cabo. Baba Cabo, when Sebi told him about photovoltaic and he told him to spell it, and he said, you're the teacher, you tell me. Every time I hear it, I think of Baba Cabo and Sebi.
Yeah. Sebi was spitting that photovoltaic since the 80s. You know what I mean? At his lectures, distinguishing the difference and everything like that. So, but yeah, it's a spiritual journey that people are actually going through. So it's going to be a spiritual healing process. Not saying there's no physical things you're doing along with it as well, but you have to come to terms with that aspect of it,
Lisa Left Eye was able to see Dr. Sebi. She was able to leave her body while she was fasting, and she saw that he liked eating Gouda cheese, and she called him on that while she was fasting. Isn't that crazy?
That's insane, man. The type of things that happen when people fast, the visions, the dreams, the the things that your body is capable of. And this is, like I said, this is when you go into the deep fasting, because, you know, when you think about Jesus, you know, we're talking 40 days. You know what I'm talking about? Sebi did 90, 120. What did he do? What's his longest?
67. Well, with me, he did 67 days.
I think he did 90 before that.
He was going for 90, but when that blood clot came out his nose, he was good.
There it is.
Yeah.
So remember, parasites, we're inducing these life forms. These life forms are a byproduct of spiritual forces and spiritual energies. We're going to create the body and the housing. You know, when women have fibroids and there's teeth and eyelashes in them, what do you think that is? Oh, you was about to make a baby. You was just making all of the necessary parts that would normally make a life, but didn't go full term. No, that's a little monster. That's a little monster that's not gonna leave by your side because it's being fed. But when them things come out, it'd be like it'd be teeth.
Crazy.
Have you seen them?
Yeah,
with the teeth in them, and it'd be like eyelashes.
Absolutely disgusting.
It'd be crazy. You know, so we have to understand that we are able to get walked through by things when you leave yourself open. And keep in mind, the increase in herpes in our community is directly parallel and proportional to the electrification of our community as well. Because it wasn't this many people who had herpes in the 80s like that. And the 90s, this has come more because we have so much electromagnetism around us now. Right. And then a lot of people who got that thing between 2020 and 24. Don't
say it.
The byproduct of a lot of those people who got it, they got herpes. You know,
I thought that was a rumor. So I thought that was just like a wild conspiracy theory or something.
Yeah. We have come to find out in 2025 what conspiracy theory actually means now. You know, now we know what that means. Yeah. Right. So also we have the human virome. Right, retroviruses. We have all the viruses that we talk about. We have inside our body without retrieving them from anyone, because we are an amalgamation of all of this life. Right, so viruses are essentially small entities that have the ability to create certain things. They're like proteins with their own brain. See, proteins don't do their own thing. You build a hammer, it's a hammer. But what if you had a hammer that could go gadget to a saw, that could go gadget to a screwdriver? That's more like what a virus is. So what we have in our body is all of this ancient DNA that we always talk about. Oh, we need to tap in, so we can bring these properties alive. That's what these viruses are. And what we end up doing is we end up activating based on our emotional experiences, the lifestyles that we decide to live, the food that we are consuming and we are eating, and the things that we refuse to share. Normally, we are humans. We're tribal. We don't have to be a big tribe. Right? It could be just a couple of us, but those tribes are there so that we are able to commune with one another and share what we're going through, because we are not always able to help ourselves. I'm going to ask both of y'all brothers something. Have y'all ever been able to massage y'all own neck or back before?
No.
You need your queen to do that for you, right?
Facts.
But you got hands, you got muscles, you can reach back there, right?
Ain't the same. Just ain't the same.
Right. But when
not at all.
When your wife come and start, you know what I mean, and the scalp and all that, it's a whole different experience. And that's because we're supposed to have fellowship. You see what I'm saying? In order to be able to get through certain things that we deal with, there's a lot that we're supposed to get through on our own, but usually that's because we've had time with fellowship and we've learned and we've grown and we've developed. But people, all the people that are out there right now that have herpes and been suffering, you're suffering alone. I know you are. You're not telling people that you have it. You're also a lot. And then this is the other thing. How about the people with herpes that are having sex, knowing they got herpes?
Wow.
Still having unprotected sex with people. Right. And then the person ends up getting it. And then, of course, you know, automatic thought is, oh, that person is evil. They wrong. How could they just spread it to this other person? They don't care. But that person is going through something. I bet you they have a angel and a devil on their shoulder, like, yo, you know, you ain't supposed to do this right now. We got to fix this, and going back and forth. And that adds to it. That's even more emotional trauma that they're building as they go. And it gets transferred. When we have sex with somebody, it is a toroidal interchange. Our auric field, the energy, the bubble that's around us that exudes outside of our physical self is having just as much sex as the physical body is.
Okay.
Right? I mean, come on now. Look. Women orgasm off of a man's touch. There doesn't have to be you don't have to touch the vagina, you have to touch the clitoris, you don't have to touch any of that. You can put intention in your hand and touch a woman, and the woman will have orgasm. So what is happening there? What physically is actually taking place? No, somebody has a certain understanding of how energy flows. They're able to focus that energy within inside that person and bring forth euphoria and the influx or the burst of oxytocin, because that's what a nut is. That's what an orgasm is. It's a big of oxytocin.
Right.
Is that special touch in the package, KT?
I mean, you know, you don't know till you get it. That's the first part of the package that I left out, with the special touch.
Okay,
that comes with everything. But no, the fact, the ability, giving these people the opportunity to continue their livelihood without this will allow them to experience that touch again, or for the first time if they never had been able to. I know a woman in her 30s who was a virgin who had sex for the first time and got herpes.
Wow.
So then the first thought is, oh man, like, what's the odds of the first person that this woman got with, the man she got with, had herpes and she caught it? Was that what happened? Or because this woman was 30 years old and still a virgin, was she a virgin because she was saving herself for marriage? Or was she a virgin because she was ashamed? Was she a virgin because of things that might have happened when she was a child? Was she a virgin because of insecurities and self-doubt and being self-conscious? Was this trauma that kept her from experiencing sex when she got in her 20s? So now the first time that she has sex with this man, what is the weight? Not the time weight, the mass. What is the weight on you during that act at that time? And as much as I know women want to be perfect, hair want to be right, smell want to be right, everything like that, what is going through this woman's spirit at this time? Making sure that I waited all these years, this is the moment, this got to be perfect. And then that being expressed where a part of her that was all tied up and bonded and pushed all the way down is like, because of this action that finally allow her to release, allows it to release.
Talk about the last outbreak that these people get.
Right. So this is another reason why I feel it's emotional and it's tied to entity, because they have the emotional experience, and then before they're cured, before it's gone, they have one huge, it's like the worst breakout they've ever had. You know, and that's that scene in the movie where you shot the bad guy, he laying down, you turn around, you looking at your girl, and then he like, and you get the shotgun and you blast him one good time, and then he down for the count. So that's that release of all that evil, that trauma, that negativity, that whatever that is being suppressed, that is coming out. All that emotion, all them tears, all that from all them years comes spilling out, and then you're able to actually heal. So that's why I say it's not so much a cure when you deal with herpes. It's really more of it's a frequency change. You're changing your frequency and your energy, so you don't allow something like that to manifest within inside your structure any longer, within inside your aura, within inside your fascia. And as much as I said, this don't got nothing on the ebook. Oh my God. I wanted to sit here and just like do that, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna save that for the people who serious. For the people who want this and they get it, they'll get this PDF and they're gonna get schooled, boy.
Let me see how the cover look, because your covers be crazy.
It's amazing. Oh no.
Nope.
No. This is only, listen, this is really like a person who doesn't have herpes, they're not gonna get this package. They're not interested in this. They good.
You're right.
You know what I mean? But they can learn from this, and everybody has emotional distress. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, okay, so what's the difference between one person that's having an emotional distress and another? Like we just talked about the difference in it being 4 months to 7 months with certain people based on their weight. Some people got different weight. Some people got different circumstances. Some people live in different environments. Some people got a 5G tower sitting right outside their house. Some people were molested. You know what I'm saying? You got different scenarios with different people. So it's going to express in bodies differently. You know what I mean? Also, you got different phenotypes where some people get bit by mosquitoes. Some people don't. You know what I'm saying? Have superpowers out here, so you don't know.
Don't start.
What's that? What's that?
Don't start. Don't start.
What?
No, go ahead. Yo, Rich, he be bugging out because we could go deep in the jungles or wherever we travel. We done been so many countries, and I never got bit by a mosquito before.
Yeah,
never.
Rich, did you hear what he just said? Don't let that fly like that. You hear what he just said? It could be 100 mosquitoes in a swamp. They be like, yo, I ain't messing with Mr. G, bro. You go over there if you want to.
What I told you before the show, G, I don't think he's human, bro.
Hey,
there you go.
He's some type of entity that's just cloaking himself, bro.
I said something totally different. I said perhaps Mr. G might be the only human.
Woo!
Yeah, you told me that a while ago. That was crazy.
He might be the only one out here. Like, can you show me how this work out here, bro? Damn. You know, but nah. What we're offering here is the KTH pack. It's on the site. It comes with the 4 months. It comes with the PDF file. It comes with the 30-minute consultation, working directly with you to truly help people get over this situation. People on the other side of the screen have been dealing with this for a year, 5 years, 10 years. They can't get married. They can't have children. You know, they can't go out and have a good time, have trips, get a massage. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many things that we take for granted. We don't think about it until we have a sinus infection or a cold, or we sprain our ankle. Then we realize, or our wrist, or we burn our hand. Then we're like, oh man, I didn't even know I needed to use my hand when I do this, you know? So just think of how all these people that are suffering from this are missing out on a huge percentage of life that they could be living.
Right.
And we just here to offer hope, you know, and solace to these people so we could truly give them something to help them out.
Yeah, what I was going to say was I actually was upset like for the last week and a half since I got the last result from the latest person that was healed. I was upset because I was like, yeah, everybody been promising to like they promise you the world while you healing them, and once they heal, it's like they shut the door on everybody else. So I had a whole different energy coming into the this talk today, but it's like I spoke to somebody prior to this, and they just massaged my soul and just, you know what,
It's good.
everybody choose. I'm not gonna get upset for people for deciding not to speak out. I am going to encourage them because there's one person that I feel might do it because he's like, he was almost like, send me the link today, G, and I was like, I would have sent him the link. But Rich, I just want to thank you, man, just for being who you are, man. I know you hate when they shine the light on you, brother, but it's a lot of stuff that's happening because you making it happen. I really appreciate this opportunity just to be on your channel. Real talk.
Indeed.
Radiohead.
G and KT, there was some good questions in the chat, and I missed a lot of them, but I want to get to some of these questions. The people y'all got the people talking in the chat, and this is like absolutely like, yo, KT, you and Mr. G, y'all cooked the whole. We've been on here for an hour and 21 minutes. Y'all cooked the whole show. So if y'all was fortunate enough, we got about 1,500 people in here. If you've been here from the beginning, y'all know these brothers just went in just now. So dope show, amazing show. Let's keep this flow going. I like this flow, this current that we got going on. I want to get to some questions from the people. I saved a couple of them, but give me some more, family. First question: can herpes come from meat?
All right. So yes, because if you look at chicken skin,
answer that how Dr. Sebi would have answered.
I'm gonna let you do it.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I know what you was gonna say, man. You know I can't say that.
All right, go ahead.
So if you look at chicken skin, this is why they call it chickenpox, right? Because you end up looking just like chicken skin when they pull them feathers up out their skin. And a lot of meats, you know, they're not the same meats that people ate back in the day. I keep reiterating this point. Are we not supposed to eat meat? I would not say it's a matter of not, it's a matter of choice. Vegetables, fruits, things that are alive are going to have a higher frequency and a higher vibration in them, obviously. But to say meat holds nothing inside of it wouldn't make any sense, because how would you explain the Inuits and the Eskimos? They ain't nothing growing up there. How do you explain tribes in Namibia that's in that big red desert? What's growing out there? You know what I'm saying? So it really depends on your phenotype, your environment, and things like that. And they are not getting antibiotic cancer-ridden cows. You know what I mean? They're not getting chickens from a chicken coop, you know, these places that are in the, you know, the South, where the chickens are all on top of each other, peeing on each other, eating each other, pecking each other and everything. They got cancer tumors and stuff growing out of them. Like, this is the meat we're eating. So the same way I talked about entities and trap devotions and everything like that, that stuff is getting transferred from those animals into you. So yes, because now you're taking on the trauma of this animal and trapping it with inside your system, because you don't even know how to process it when it gets inside of you. If you can't process your emotion, how you going to process a cow's depression? Like, what you gonna do with a chicken sadness? Like, how you ain't even gonna be able to recognize it. So that thing gonna get tied up and pushed away somewhere, and it's gonna fester. You know.
All right.
They got the nanites in the food. They got the GMO food. Like, yeah, you get more from that just from meat. You can get all types of issues from meat, and this is why when you deal with Islamic communities, they deal with halal meat. This is why when you go in Jewish communities, you deal with kosher meat. They not eating the same meat you eating.
Let's get to the next question. Can you use the package for more than just herpes? Will it work for other hard to rid bacteria or viruses?
So the other thing I didn't mention with the meat question was the fact that meat holds parasites a lot in them too. So if you dumping a bunch of parasites in your body, then you're increasing the possibilities that the parasites could be carrying something along with them. Can you use the package for more than just herpes? Yes, this package could be used for a lot of things. One other thing that it helped with was that thing, right, Mr. G?
Yes, sir.
You know, the 4-year body problem. That's what we call it. Instead of the 3 body problem, we're gonna call it the 4-year body problem. That was something that helped with that situation as well. So we're speaking specifically on the experiment that we've conducted thus far, you know, with these 12 individuals, and that's what it was for. Based on what I know and what Mr. G has experienced, yes, we know this will help with other things, but I'm not going to be able to pinpoint and say, yeah, use it exactly for this and use it exactly for that. But it's definitely something that even if you don't have herpes, this will definitely help you. But it's geared towards people that are suffering from herpes 1 and 2.
All right, let's get to this next question. Are you providing testing for herpes pre-treatment and post-treatment?
No, we're not providing testing, and I think that's a good thing, because if you're getting it from an outside source, then there's no conflict of interest taking place.
Yo, that's a great question right there. That's one of the questions that actually helped Dr. Sebi beat the New York Supreme Court, because he never told nobody they had HIV. He never told nobody they had herpes. They bought them the doctor's paperwork, and then they bought them their doctor's paperwork saying positive and negative. So anybody with Photoshop can doctor up a result. So I like the fact that these people, the people that sent us their negative report, they sent it to us from their doctors. We're not a lab.
Okay, excellent. Is the healing process for herpes dependent on how long one has had the disease too, or is it just weight based?
I wouldn't say so much how long that they've had it. It's more of what's the lifestyle you've been living during that period of time. That's gonna matter. Of course, yes.
It was one lady. She had it for 15 years, she told me, and within 5 months it was gone. It was a person who found out they had it, and they found out they had it, like one of the first person, they found out they had it, and within 6 months it was gone. So it doesn't really matter how long you had it, based on the experience that I've seen.
Okay.
Okay. And the people are asking about where it's at. It's on, and I haven't mentioned that, it's on the So Ionic Botanical website. It's on the site. It's on the main feature product page, main page, soionicbotanicals.com. The link is in my link tree on all my social media platforms, KT the Arts Degree. Rich is going to put the link in the description of this show. And I know, shout out to King Simon. He was in here earlier.
Yeah.
He put it up in there too. And if anybody in there that I know, there you go. King Simon ain't playing. There we go. That's it right there.
How do I get to it from your website? Let's say I just got to your website. How do I get to it?
Go to products.
Products.
Yep. Go to shop all featured products.
And
scroll down to the bottom. And there you go. The KTH back.
Right.
And it's a 4-month. You're getting it's not that you keep getting things for 4 months. You get all 4 months worth of herbs at once. So you could break that price up that you see is really based on a month by month amount. Right. So it's like it's 200 per month that you're paying for those 4 months. If it's 5 months and we have to go, a little further, then, we could make a customized like addendum for you to continue. You know what I mean? But this is the basis for the 4 months.
Right.
But Kate is soionicbotanicals.com. You could go to Shop All too. I usually tell people go to featured products, hit featured products, and you'll scroll right there and you'll see the package right at the bottom.
Once again, King Simon is sharing the chat in the links. I mean, I said the chat. He's sharing the link in the chat. I just
added the links. Yeah, that's radio. That's Radiohead.
Radio got scrambled real quick. But yeah, the link is in the chat, family. So you could get it right in the chat. Shout out to King Simon in the chat right now.
Yeah, shout out to him.
That's my brother right there.
Yeah, he just sent me a link today of he found a Dr. Sebi herb and wellness book on Temu.
Oh yeah,
he sent it to me too. He sent it to me
AI
too.
picture of them on there don't look nothing like Dr. Sebi. I'm like,
did y'all know King Simon and I went to Martin Luther King High School together?
Did not know that.
You told me.
I know that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
He just left before I did because he was a bad boy, he said.
Oh man. All right. So
he's still a bad boy.
A lot of people say this question right here. They say oregano oil is good for herpes. Is that true?
Okay, so as we just spoke in this presentation, overcoming herpes is not just as simple as taking a thing and it going away. All right. Even when Mr. G brought up the honey, the honey is good when you have breakouts and you put I spoke on this before. You put Nessu nectar on it, it gets rid of the breakout, but it doesn't get rid of the hurt. You have to get to the underlying problem. You have a plumbing issue in your house. You have to dig down and get to them pipes. You can't just fix the faucet real quick because the problem is going to keep persisting, right? So I'm not going to say that there aren't any benefits with using oregano oil. I wouldn't say that. But what we're talking about today is getting down to the root of the issue so people can overcome this indefinitely. And what we found over the past 2 years of applying this particular protocol is this is what it takes for people to make the transformation, because Mr. G, this is another part that we're leaving out. Can you please share with the people? And I know y'all like, why y'all keep putting on Mr. G? Mr. G tells stories way better than me. When it's time to break down the science, here I go. When it's time to tell people what it is, this the man right here. He got 10 kids. This is a daddy that know how to talk to people with the least amount of words. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So can you express to these people after these people are cured and helped and healed and they're in this new world? What is their temperament? What is their lifestyle? How what is their life like?
Oh man, they become new. Well, based on what I've seen, they become new people and more cautious. And well, based on what they told me, they listen. Well, some of them get me upset, but they change their whole attitude. They change their whole attitude, more cautious towards life.
It's almost like they won a lottery, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like I just won $10 million. I got actually like yesterday there was 100 in my bank account. Now there's 10 million in there.
And you know, I have one person who actually went to 4 different doctors because she didn't believe. She went to 4 different doctors.
And that's exactly why we don't do it. Please do all that because that just reinforces it more and more and more.
She went to 2
in the second, third, fourth opinion.
Yeah, 2 in New York, 1 in Flatbush, no, 1 in Virginia, and 1 in Miami, where her dad is at. Like he was like, nah, let me take you to my doctor. And if he say you don't have it, then I'll believe it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah.
All right. Next question. I don't know if you mentioned this already, KT. Is Hijacking suppurativa linked to herpes?
And I'm gonna tell you in all honesty, I don't know what that is. I'm about to look it up.
Let me take that question, KT.
Yeah, go ahead and handle that.
I'm messing with you.
Okay, hidradenitis suppurativa, or HS, also known as acne inversa, is a chronic inflammatory skin condition that causes painful lumps, nodules, and abscesses often in areas where skin rub. Yeah. So this ain't nothing but another form of herpes. And one thing I could say that the person can try other than the package that we offer is Bladeract. A lot of people that deal with boils, abscesses, fluid-filled sacs in their body, Bladeract helps a lot. If you go in nature and you look at Bladeract is an algae that has these sacs. That's why it's called Bladeract, because they have bladders. A bladder is a sac that's filled with water. Your bladder is a sac that's filled with water that you have to empty every day. Bladeract has this special water in it because it's in the ocean, so the water goes in and then it mixes with the fucoidin and all the other little molecules that's in there. And then when you end up taking Bladeract, and it gets rehydrated, through the tea or however you taking it, the water's in your body, it helps to release those fluids, and shrink those boils and those bumps and things of that nature. So I would suggest that's something you can try. It's probably something you might even have in your house that's easy to come by. But yes, I would suggest this as well, because it sounds like the fascia, it sounds like the collagen, the rubbing together the skin. It all is relative. So yes, I would suggest this package as well.
All right.
Sebi used to mix sea moss with Bladeract a lot.
Oh yeah. He would do the 80-20, which a lot of people don't know, because you can't just be 50-50 Bladeract sea moss or 80-20 the other way, because that Bladeract will have you looking like 50 Cent in that movie.
Damn.
Y'all know that movie.
Is that strong,
50
huh?
Cent was
80 pounds.
when he had that thing, boy.
All right, we're gonna do a couple more questions. I see y'all asking a lot of questions non-related to the show tonight. I'm focusing on questions related to the topic tonight. This is a very important topic. I could tell by the type of questions that are being asked. Yeah,
we already done been through this.
Oh man,
do you know the type of courage it takes for somebody who got herpes to step in a chat filled with 1,500 people and be like, "Can you answer this for me?"
Yeah,
they do not want to even put themselves out. They hoping the next person asks.
That's the question they want to ask, right?
You know what I mean? They might say, "Yo, my friend wants to know."
This what I'm saying? Yeah. What if you went through all the trauma you mentioned but don't have herpes? Will this help with clearing my spiritual vessel, which that's been in pain soulfully? Damn. Okay.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So you hear me speak about the fascia, right? The fascia is kind of the common denominator with all of this, right? Yeah. So if the answer is yes, but y'all all know that even though I offer things, I always give people the opportunity to things they could do at home in their immediate environment if they do not want to participate, in the package and everything. And what I would say is focus on your fascia. You need to learn your fascia, train it. Something that y'all could look up is something called anatomy trains. Anatomy trains. You have these bands, these rubber bands that exist all over our body. You know what I mean? Like when you look down at the floor, you can feel the tension in your neck. In order for you to look down more, you might have to bend forward because you have to make some slack with that band. There's certain movements that it's very difficult for you to make with your arms and your legs. Contortionists could do it. Kids could do it. It's difficult for you to do it because you have these bands that are very restrictive. So look up anatomy trains, look up fascia, and do fascia training and start opening that fascia up, because these are spiritual cinders that are in bondage. Ooh. Wait a minute now. That wasn't even a thought, y'all. That came out right there. Yes, they are spiritual centers in bondage inside of us.
That came through you, bro.
Yeah.
That just came on out right there.
Yeah.
But then Kenya did it because she asked that question.
Look like you have one of Rich cigars.
Don't let the cat out the bag, boy.
We gonna get to that another show, y'all. But the radio cigars are coming.
Whoa.
Man, oh man.
There you go, Ebony Pearl. Untie that knot. Untie that. Yo, isn't a knot one of the most irritating and aggravating things? You tie a knot in your jogging pants, and I mean tie a bow in your jogging pants, and it turns to a knot, or you got a package and there's a knot, or you just ordered some food and the Chinese people done tied that crazy knot up in there. You can't open that bag up to get to your food. Yo, knots be irritating.
Yeah.
How about your cables and your wires, Rich, when it's time to do a show or something out of town? Huh, Mr. G, when them cables get off?
Oh my God.
How irritating is that?
Very.
You know what I'm saying?
Wire maintenance is a must.
Once you untie all that and untangle all that, how good do you ain't even hooked nothing up yet. You just looking at all the wires apart from each other. You like, oh, thank you.
You just said entanglement, bro.
There you go. Entangled.
Let me get to. I seen another one I want to add. Okay. Could a person have herpes from childhood lying dormant until they come in contact with someone else who has it and it gets activated in them?
Yeah, I mean, because chickenpox is something that's in us. You know, they used to have chickenpox parties, and it wasn't the kids contagiously spreading the chickenpox to the next kid. Is that we all have it inherently in us, and we got morphogenic fields. Morphogenic fields is like when women sync their cycles, even though their cycle might be different times in the month, they occupy the same space over time in an apartment. Then their cycles end up sinking into one another. Even yawning is a morphogenic field. You know what I mean? We did this experiment before, right, Rich? Where I yawned on the camera and somebody else, you know, they put in the chat, I yawned too. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we got that other side to it, you know. So the children having this lying dormant inside of them, when they get around a child whose chickenpox has been activated, then theirs get activated too, and then the other get activated. They overcome it, body gets stronger, they move on. I haven't even heard of a kid with chickenpox
long time.
In the 2000s. I'm trying to remember. I don't even hear about it anymore. You know what I'm saying?
What's the relation with chickenpox, shingles?
Same thing. They all the same. Right? Yep. Chickenpox, shingles, and herpes. They all are connected. One is childhood, one is adult adolescence, the other one is when you're an elder. Because you don't really hear about elders having chickenpox. They'll be like, or having chickenpox or having herpes. If you heard of a 70-year-old with herpes before? I ain't heard of one. But I hear them talk about shingles though. Like, oh,
they changed the name
all over me, right? Yeah.
Damn, this is something. Yeah. Well, somebody said, can the H-pack be completed by children without making them lose weight? I don't think so, right? No,
I did. Children can do it too, can't they? Based on what we doing.
Based on what we do, we haven't
done that, but based on how we're doing it, I think we would change the dosage slightly and probably the currency of it, like how often, you know. But in terms of them participating in what we're suggesting to be done, I don't have a problem with that.
It all depends on the child, how old he is too. Like if we talking
what
toddlers,
age we talking about? We don't
they have to be able to sit still. Yeah.
Facts. I mean, I see them doing it with the parent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
On their lap. Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? Yeah.
All right, let's we're gonna do two more before we get out. These are I like the questions tonight, y'all.
Yeah, no, great questions.
I wanted to give you the opportunity to ask questions. Somebody asked, if chickenpox is a form of herpes, when the chickenpox leave the body, do the herpes leave with it?
Who said chickenpox leave the body?
Oh.
Who said they leave they just left the party. They didn't leave the body.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what I'm trying to tell y'all about herpes. It's not like you're gonna go and have a bowel movement and you're gonna look in the toilet and be like, oh man, the herpes is gone. It don't work like that. It's a frequency that you're getting yourself into. You're putting your body in a particular state that removes it from manifesting, remove it from expressing itself. You know what I'm saying? Like they had a study with a bunch of kids. Y'all could look this up. That was in a classroom. And there were the kids were kind of restless, but there was one kid in particular that was just mad rambunctious, just tearing up the class and distracting them all the time, right? So what they decided to do is they changed the lights and they also opened the lights up. Open the windows up in the classroom to let the sun in. And once the sun came in and the light started hitting them, the children started doing more work, and that kid moved from the back of the class to the front of the class and became head of the class. So he was mad rambunctious. Imagine him being herpes, right? You're not getting rid of the child. You're not going to kill the child. You're not going to kick the child out, right? You change the circumstance and the child changes behavior patterns where now it's a benefit to the classroom rather than it being something of an uproar.
Change the circumstance.
Yes.
Got you. Last question for the night. Where is it at? Super chat. Thanks for the super chat. What's the difference between a herpes bump and a boil?
Boils are big. They're isolated. You know, herpes are much smaller. They're more like blisters. And there's a different type of pain and experience that you have. Boils usually stay. They don't like come and go like that. They're usually on you, you know, while the herpes is like recurring. Like I said, they're smaller, but it's a similar situation. It still deals with the collagen. It still deals with the fascia. It still deals with emotion. And those boils are really holding putrefied matter in there. It's almost like a cyst. Yeah.
All right, man. With that being said,
Yo, Richard, before you get out of here, man, don't just go over the radio cigars like that. You need to put everybody on.
I got you. Don't even you don't gotta even answer. I'm gonna let everybody know this part. I'm doing Sinners Decoded tomorrow on my Patreon channel.
Fire.
Okay. Breaking down that Sinners tomorrow. You know what I mean? Anybody see my brothers? Because you know it done went to their head.
Just because it's about twins.
Twins and red and blue.
True.
They like Kugler, yo, where's my money, son? You know, but nah, I'm going deep in. I'm gonna I have a clip up on YouTube, maybe the first 15-20 minutes of it or something like that. But the full jump in is gonna be on my Patreon channel, which is just KT the Arts Degree /patreon.com. That's how you get to it. Become a member, jump on there. It's gonna be tomorrow evening, 8:00. And I'm going in, and I'll even throw y'all something today. Pick Paul Robin Clean. So you got to always pay attention to the music that's chosen in movies. This is the song that the Caucasians were singing, and it kept getting reiterated through the movie. This is a famous song from the early 1900s. Pick Paul Robin Clean, where the song is about, and it's just like this herpes conversation, where an entity takes advantage of another person by taking all of their valuables. And we're not just talking about the money in your pocket. We're talking about your health. We're talking about your motivation. We're talking about your genes. We're talking about, your memories, right? Picking you clean till there's nothing left. So when they were singing that song in the movie, they was talking about the connection to music and how through our music they pick us clean, because nobody make no money off music. Nobody has control over their music like that. And in us instilling the content that we do in music these days, we're picking ourselves clean, you know. So I'm gonna get more in detail in that song. I'm going to talk about a lot of details in the movies that you probably didn't think of. You know what I'm saying? Like, did y'all pay attention to the fact that Michael B. Jordan played both red and blue twin, right? And had a scene where one lit the cigarette, he passed the cigarette to the other twin.
Crazy.
He passed a lit cigarette to himself. To even conceptualize that scene and execute that. Amazing work. And all of the abundance, all the prosperity, all the success, I hope, for Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan with their performances and execution of this work of art. And I know, Rich, I know when you saw that movie, I know you lost your mind.
I didn't see it yet. The Sinners. I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
Radiohead.
I didn't see it.
Radiohead Rich.
Yo, and also,
one of your cigars before you go see it.
Yeah, real quick before we get out of here, I want to really thank Mr. G for introducing me to certain folks in Honduras. My spirit just, I don't know how I got to this point with the tobacco family, but I'm gonna tell you that I was just smoking it real quick. So I was just smoking it on Saturday night, and I was just saying in my mind, I was saying, where have you been all my life? It was such an amazing experience, and it's really, I call them ancestral communication devices, family.
Yes.
It is absolutely, and this is high quality. This is 100% pure tobacco. The curanderos, these are the shamans that cured Dr. Sebi. So this is the stuff that you're not going to get just anywhere, family. I now have possession of it, and it's a donation based. It's a donation based thing. So I'm a get everything. I got a bunch of packages going out tomorrow, by the way, from people who sent the donation in last week. But let me just get my packaging in and everything, family, and I'm gonna bring it back on the scene next week. But family, I'm telling you, wait till the radio cigars hit the airwaves, hit the ethers, hit this realm. Oh man, this son, y'all. I'm thankful. I'm eternally thankful to be a part of this. I'm the new tobacco chief in town. So
there we go. Yeah, and you said you wanted to do a show on tobacco too, right, Rich?
Yeah, we got to do that. KT gonna help me. He gonna do a show. KT breaks down the science. Me and Mr. G, we in the background. KT know how to break it all down.
Maybe Mr. G will come back for that show too, huh?
Hey man, we might need you, G.
Now I like to send the super chats in and watch from home.
Somebody said I sent the donation and didn't get an email. I sent the email to everybody, so that's an issue. If you sent the donation and again an email,
your spam.
Check your spam. Email me at richardmerritt@yahoo. King Simon could probably share it in the chat. But man, yeah, I sent it to everybody. Pretty much everybody. A lot of y'all responded. Some of y'all didn't. You don't want to miss this wave, y'all. This is it, y'all. When I say this is it, I mean this is it, y'all. So I'ma just, I'll have a further announcement with that in a week or two.
G.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, G. Yeah.
Fontana.
Oh,
Fontana.
I had a question. I want to give away 18 ounces of Batana today.
Well, that's dope.
Yeah. The question is, when Dr. Sebi was fasting, what are the, besides water and sea moss, what else did he consume?
That's for the people in the chat?
Yes, not y'all.
And what, the first person that answers, what happens?
I'm gonna give them 18 ounces. Let me show you real quick. Hold on.
And I'm gonna do one too. I'm gonna give away a jar of honey, a honey pot.
I'll send this out.
I'm gonna do a giveaway.
Okay.
All right.
Hold on.
All right. So you looking at the chat, Mrs. G? See that somebody?
Yeah, you gotta. Is it bladder rack?
No.
Okay. A lot of salt.
No.
Tea.
Mushrooms. Oh, somebody violated and said comfrey, bro. Get him out of here.
Watermelon, soursop.
Yeah, you got trolls. You got garlic up in here. What they do?
Coconut.
Monatomic gold. What are y'all doing?
I'm looking at the chat now.
Tamarind juice.
Yeah, somebody said urine.
They close. They close with that.
Moringa. Nothing.
What,
Sour
what
oranges.
urine is close.
Weed.
No.
Yo,
KT, you know Dr. Sebi, so tell me what he was eating besides
bitters.
Besides
black seed oil.
You know, I'm thinking of something else.
you 100% right what you're thinking.
Ain't nobody about to say that, bro.
Yeah, I don't think they know this one, G. Oh,
I'm seeing is anybody. All right, they're not gonna guess it. They're not gonna guess it.
Keep looking. Keep looking. Go back. I think somebody said it.
Who said it? I don't see it.
Saying ain't so.
Go.
Saying ain't that. He really was doing that. Is what I think it is?
That's not what it is. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what I thought it was, and you let me know, Mr. G. Because if so, then it's gonna be where's she at? No, it's he. I'm sorry. Asante Alcindor at 11:01 p.m. said iguana.
No.
Oh, okay. I thought that's what you was talking about.
I'm gonna give you a clue to everybody who's been listening. You mentioned that it's always in the dark.
Is this X-rated? Is this X-rated? Oh,
hey, chill out, man.
Man. Come on, man. We got
the one time my mind's not in together.
Okay, somebody.
Oh no, they said second time. So I guess Soul. What's his name? Soul System said it.
Who said it?
Solar System. He said. I guess he said it once before because he said for the second time.
Okay.
He said vagina.
Bobby Hammond. You know, Bobby Hammond made a joke about that one time. He said he was talking about when he was in college. And Bobby Hammond was like, man, when you in college, you ain't got no money, man. He said, I ain't had no money for food, man. I just ate some pussy, man, and that was good.
Now you got Rock Him Alive said the yoni, and I don't know if that's before or after the other guy.
I don't know who
second time.
Who said it first?
I'm looking back to try and see when the answer started. Hold on, we gotta look at the camera footage, y'all. Hold on. Okay, no, so that he's all the way up here, right after iguana. He said vagina.
Who?
The first guy, Asante Alcindor.
Asante, email me at Mr. G Photos, MRGP as in Paul HOTOS, Mr. G Photos at gmail.com. Email me and I'll send your package out tomorrow morning.
That was a question. Okay.
All right. Your turn, KT.
Wow. All right. What's mine gonna be? I just had one too. I was gonna ask. Oh, I got one. I got one in honor of our guest. Mr. G wrote a book that a huge percentage of y'all better had read by now. In that book, there's somebody very special to Mr. G. Matter of fact, Dr. Sebi, the reason why Mr. G really understands to what degree Dr. Sebi was able to help people is because Dr. Sebi was able to help this person that Mr. G cares for a great deal. And it's so cosmically aligned that Dr. Sebi even had a product with this person's same name.
That was crazy.
Who is this and what is her name? And you will get a jar, a honey pot of Nestle nectar. I need who this person is and what is her name.
Somebody said left eye.
Yeah, anything KT talk about it, left eye. No mitochondria.
They saying,
let's see.
Somebody said his sister. Debbie said his sister.
Okay, we need name. We need a name because if y'all read the book and y'all know how much this woman means to Mr. G, you know her name. We gotta get her name. I'm giving away a honey pot, y'all. I'm about to get 4 ounces, man.
Sister Eleni.
I guarantee what, Mr. G, they're gonna know her name tonight.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
They're gonna know. Hey, Alicia Tardy wins.
That's what's up.
She wins. We got one. We got Eva.
I appreciate that, KT.
We got Eva in the building. All right. So same situation. Please send the email to info@soionicbotanicals.com. I can have your address and your information, and I will ship to you your very own 4-ounce Nestle nectar honey pot.
And you know, Alicia Tardy mother drew this. Painted this.
See what I'm saying? Look, grand opening, grand closing, right? We opened it with ain't that wild?
Wow, what a way to end the show.
Here we go. That's Eva right there. So love and blessings.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate
blessings, sir. Right. But yeah, man, thank you, Rich, for bringing us on. So we was able to have this dialogue. I want to thank everybody who showed up tonight. I hope we was able to share with you some great information, great stories. soionicbotanicals.com is where you will find the package at. It'll the link's going to be in the description. You could get it through my link tree. And then we got Blue Magic over with Mr. G. You want to give them your website, Mr. G?
Nah, I basically my website, I appreciate you plugging it, but my main goal for today is to get as many people healed as possible. So all information that we gave y'all today was 100% true. And you don't have to live with this. You don't have to live with this. You don't. You could definitely get rid of it. So that was my main. And Rich, thanks a lot, brother. I really appreciate you for even giving us this opportunity to help people. And what I tell everybody that I help, the information that we give you, help somebody else, please.
Yes, indeed. With that being said, family, I want to thank everybody who tuned in tonight. I want to thank Mr. G, KT, the Artistry, for their magnificent work. The 12 individuals who got healed, shout out to them for investing in themselves and putting in the work to go through the healing process. Keep up the great work, y'all. We appreciate it. Mr. G, KT, the Artistry. I'm going to see all of y'all tomorrow, 9 o'clock. Rod Hayes signing out, family. Everybody have a good night. Good night, y'all.
Peace.
Peace. Peace, y'all.